I'm Carl Rowland with Shoreline Products. In this video, we're going to show a part being made on our AccuPro chucker lathe with our pneumatic bar feeder. My program is set up for starts. My hard stop is tool number 3, so I've already put in center line of the spindle for my X position on the tool page, and 0 is the front of the part. So in my program, what it does is the stop will come up to Z0, then it'll feed down to where the end of the stock should be once the part has been parted off. Then important on this, especially if it's a long-running part, sometimes the pusher will get a little sticky in there. So it's best if once you open your collet, you push the stock into the collet a bit to loosen up the bar pusher. Then move your stop out at a G1, feed rate of about 6 inches a minute. Then in the program, I have a G4 with a P value in it for a dwell. So right now it's G4 P4000. It's going to have a 4-second dwell. So it's going to move up here. The collet's going to open up with a M11. The stock will feed out to the stop. The stop will then push it in a little bit. Then it'll come back out to Z0. Then with an M10, the collet will close. Then the hard stop will move away in the Z. There'll be a 4-second countdown dwell time, and then the program will start. So what I'd like to do right now is an MDI, because it knows it's tool number 3. I'm just going to go to MDI. And right now I'm going to open my collet, so it's going to be M11. And you can see the stock just fed out to my hard stop. My part overall length, once it's parted off, is basically 1 inch. So right now I'm at Z minus 0.758. So if I run my program right now, when my hard stop comes up, it's going to crash into the end of the stock because it's out too far. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to jog, and you can see where I'm at minus 0.758, and I'm in continuous, and I'm just going to move the stock in. That's minus 988, minus 1 inch and 21. So if I close the collet right now, the end of my stock is basically where it would be when I start the program after I parted it off. So right now I'm going to go into MDI again, and I'm going to go M10. That closes my collet. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to go to jog and rapid. And I'm just going to move it out of the way. So right now my program is ready to start making my part. Right now I'm going to show you the program that we're going to run. And it's going to be AccuPro chucker lathe trade show or show part. And it's just going to be this part right here. It's a nice looking part. I came up with this just so we can show turning, threading, drilling operations, part off, and the bar feeder working. If I go to my edit screen, that calls it my program. And you can see that the first thing that comes up is the hard stop. In the program, I have an M05, which turns the spindle off. A key note here, every time you give it an M11 to open the collet, the software is set up to automatically turn the spindle off. You don't want to feed stock with the spindle on. So there's sort of a fail-safe in their software. I put it in the program just out of habit. I'm going to page down. And I went to, in the program, the line before this went to Z0. Okay, then it's feeding down to Z minus 0.8, which gives me about 200 thousandths worth of gap between the end of my stock after the part's cut off. Then we have an M11, okay, then a GL1 to move out the Z 5 thousandths. Then we've got my G4 P4000 for a 4-second dwell. Then M10 to close the collet, and then a rapid move G00 of Z1 inch. So that's in the program. As a fail-safe, if you're running continual parts in a bar feed situation like this, what you would want to do is put your actual part off at the beginning of the program. So the program would start with your part off tool, cutting the part off before the hard stop comes in to feed your stock out. Right now in this program, the part off is at the end of the program. It's just a suggestion. It'll save you some misery and crashes if you put your part off at the very beginning of the program. So the program runs the entire part, it gets finished, and then when you start the program again, the first thing it does is part off the part and then feed your stock out and run the next part. So right now, I'm going to exit out of this. We'll load the program again, and we're going to run this part. We're loading the program. We're going to go to F2, MDI, going to hit rewind, okay, and we're going to hit start. Feeds down. Okay, there's the 4-second dwell. We're off. This is all rough turning with a 55-degree insert. And it's roughing the 832 threaded section and the front of the ball. And we're going to center drill and drill a 1/16 hole. Now we're going to do the 832 thread. That's threading at 1,000 RPMs. And the grooving tool is going to come in and just do a cleanup on the OD of the thread. Now the threading tool is going to come in and do 3 spring passes. Now the 55 is going to rough out the backside of the ball. And now the radius grooving tool is going to finish the entire ball. And now we're going to part it off. End the program with a stop, ready to run another part. Okay, so that's our finished part right there. We've got a nice round brass ball with an 832 thread on it and a 1/16 inch hole in the middle. So I'd like to go over some lubrication points. On our lever collet closer, you've got an access hole right here. Each day when you're using this, especially if you're using it in a production environment, you want to put a few drops of 3-in-1 oil in there. That goes down onto the brass shoes that open and close the lever collet closer. That's the only lubrication it has. When you put up some bar stock in this, the bar pusher has 2 O-rings on it that seal it to keep the air behind it. And obviously if you're spinning this guy up at 2800 RPM and that bar is inside our bar pusher, it's generating some heat. So what you want to do is, before you put the bar stock into the end of the bar feeder, just squirt some 3-in-1 oil in there. You can lift it up, spin the bar around so it coats the inside, and then push your bar stock in there. And that'll keep the inside lubricated and keep it from sticking on you. We're pretty pleased with the design. It's the bar pusher is A2 steel that's been hardened. It's not going to wear out anytime soon. Everything else is aluminum steel anodized. We think it's a pretty quality setup, and we're very pleased with it. So there you have it, our AccuPro turn chucker lathe and our pneumatic bar feeder. Thank you.